What's going on, guys? Just want to go over a couple things this morning. Nothing major, but Sean, I wasn't referring to you as being a chemist. Pisser's the one that doesn't measure anything. He just pours and has good luck with it, and he doesn't mind telling you that. He made a video about it, so I don't recommend doing it that way. You guys know that, but there was a time where I did do it that way, so I'm not above it. I just don't do it like that anymore. But as far as the whole measuring thing goes, somebody just had PM me and asked me about measuring by weight, and I wouldn't be calling Sean out, the Velvet Hammer, because Sean is a friend of mine. I like Sean. Sean does great work, you know, and he does it pretty much like the rest of us do. And I'm going to call somebody out. I'll definitely call him out, you know. I'm not shy. But Pisser, you know, me and him are really good friends. And he just recently made a video about how he does it, you know. Doesn't like to measure stuff. And I was just saying, those guys, I sort of like those guys because you get to sell them double the hardener, you know. Usually they run out of one or the other. But in the past, I put primer, hardener, and clear, and crazy stuff just like, you know, a lot of guys have to do when they're in a pinch. But wasn't calling you out, Sean. You know, maybe the guy had watched your video on measuring by weight, and I'm not smart enough to do it that way. I know you can measure by ounces or parts. That doesn't confuse me too much, but it's like anything with making a video, you know. Three guys can make a video on the same thing and describe it totally different, 3 different ways. You know, in the end, the 3 of us are all mixing the clear 4-to-1, I hope, you know. We might go about it different ways, though. Sean seems to like to mix by the ounce, but it doesn't matter because ounces are equal parts also. The by weight thing threw me off, you know, because by nature, your primer or whatever you're catalyzing is usually heavier than whatever you're, you know, putting in as a hardener. Is usually a lighter material. So if you compared it by fluid ounce, by weight, the 2 products wouldn't be the same, was the only thing I was trying to say there. And a cup is just the easiest way not to confuse yourself. So that's that. The other thing is, I noticed that Sean's Velvet Hammer has been having some trouble with his DeVelvis that he bought. I don't get into the gun debate too much, you know, because it's personal preference. A lot of the guys like the Harbor Freight guns and think they work great. And that might be a good $12 alternative for you. But the DeVelvis Plus is it's a hammer gun. You know, and I sort of told Sean that when he bought it. And it will hammer the materials on. And in the summertime, that gun's probably fine. But in the winter, when the materials get thicker and your speed changes, it can mess with you. The other thing that I was thinking about that might have happened to that gun is, I know you like to clean it a lot. The packing on the small rod going into the base of the gun there under the trigger is very sensitive to gun cleaner. I noticed when I used my DeVelvis Plus at the dealership and I put it in the gun washer, it wiped that packing out in a matter of a week or 2. I mean, we used it a lot, but when that packing goes bad, it'll cause the gun to spray completely different. Now the packing, usually if it's bad, it'll show signs of leaking. You know, you'll spray and you'll see little residue down there by the handle. You wonder where it's coming from, and it comes out of that little packing there. Sometimes you can tighten that nut up and swell the packing back up. But a lot of times you gotta buy packing. Now as far as saw another question about whether they thought a Developus was equal to a SATA, and there's no way, no day, no how is a Developus ever as good as a SATA. You know, I've said that in my previous videos. The only reason you'd buy a Developus is purely price, you know. Price is the only determining factor there. The SATA is the superior gun on the market as well as, you know, atomizing material and breaking the waterborne products up. They're pretty much one of the leaders, you know. You could get an Iwata or, you know, something like that. Those guys are constantly trying to develop the tips of their guns and the caps where they atomize the product and lay it on the panel and stuff like that, you know. And but you can't compare a Developus with a SATA. It's just not going to happen. It's a totally different type of gun. Developus is a production gun, and you can run the shit out of stuff with it. A SATA or a Sokola or an Iwata, it's going to atomize the clear and it's going to break it up, and it's going to be a little slower. It's going to be very hard to get runs with, and it's going to be very hard to find a gun that'll spray like one of those guns. That's why they can get $800 for them. It's not just the name you're buying, it's a little bit of quality there too. Snap-on tools are the same way, you know. I mean, there's 4 or 5 different companies that make a 1/2-inch wrench, but there's nothing like a Snap-on wrench when it's in your hand, you know. Now, I used to like the SATAs, used to be hands down, you know, my favorite pick for guns, until I got the Sokola and tried it. And the reason I like the Sokola is, I know one of the guys that watches my channel, Robbie, in Pennsylvania there, he just got a price on a rebuild kit for his SATA. And they're not cheap, man. You know, you can spend $200 for a packing kit for a SATA. And Sokola doesn't have any of that in it. It's machined to tolerance. There's no packings in the gun. So that's why I like the Sokolas now. A lot less maintenance, and there's nothing to wear out except the needle. And the needle has a lifetime warranty against wear. So you just call them up, and if they don't have a needle in stock, they'll machine one for you. So that's why I went with Sokola. But those are the 2 things there: the gun and measuring by weight. And I know the Velvet Hammer is more than capable of painting a car. I understand that completely. You know, I consider him a peer. You know, I consider him an equal. He's been doing it for long enough where he knows what's going on. So, you know, you don't have to question his technique. The only question that the guy had was that threw him off was the weight thing. I guess he'd watched Sean's video, and that was his question was, can you mix by weight? And I just like to stick to the cups or by the ounce, you know. It's much easier for me. And sure Sean's a little more intelligent than I am when it comes to doing math. So he may very well be able to figure out weight by volume and break that down and all that stuff and measure by weight. But I am not smart enough for all that stuff. So I'll stick to using little notches on the cup personally. But anyway, that's what's going on here. It's getting this ready. I'm going to throw some base on this and some clear. Letting it warm up a little bit. We'll get it taped up here and we'll do a video on this. So, That's where we're at on this Prius. This will be leaving today, leaving the building. There's the kitty cat. It's 65 right now here, 40% humidity. Should be a good paint day. Somebody wanted to know why I use 36-inch paper to do the wheels. And I do that just because the wheel covers tend to get dirty. They tend to get really dirty and dusty, and they get a lot of dirt from those things after a while. So, yeah, let me grab a bag. We'll bag this up. I think we can bag it from here. Get a bag on this bad boy. Grab that real quick, and then we'll go to painting this thing. Looking for a razor blade. Never a razor blade when you need one. Aha, a razor blade. All right there, guys. Being difficult. That is one thing I wanted to share the velvet hammer. Mr. Sean, I saw where you were having trouble with your tape sticking to El Plastico, and there might be a deal there. If you order the plastic with the metal backing on it, normally you get a little better sticky. This stuff has two sides to it. There's one side that says tape this side. I don't know if you can see that in there. Anyway, one side of the bag has a metal coating on it. And your paint sticks to it. If you get the plastic backwards, it'll just it'll blow the old stuff right into your off the tape or off the plastic onto your paint. There we go. Let me get this stuff stretched out. I use the Sherwin-Williams stuff. It's pretty reasonable, and you can paint it real easy. I want to look into some of that stuff. And I'm sure other people sell it besides Sherwin-Williams. It's just metal back plastic. Some guys will bag the car and they won't even put paper on it. They'll use the plastic right up to the panel. That sort of scares me. I don't do it that way, you know. So, but there is some different plastics out there. There we go. If we're about ready on this one, we'll wipe it down and be off. So there we go, we're all taped up, bagged up, all that good stuff. I'll turn you guys back on when we get in here with the paint gun and spray it. There's our repair area, feathered out a little bit, and we're just gonna paint the middle of the cover, clear the sides, scuffed it with a scuffy pad, did it all dry because I didn't want to get wet this morning. It was a little cold. But let me get the old race car pushed back and get the door shut in here, get the fan running, put the filter in, and have some fun. So anyway, hope I cleared some shit up there. And yeah, Pisser's the Chemist. Go look at his last video or so. And me and Pisser are good friends. I don't comment on his channel a lot, but he does come to visit. And you know, we Facebook, talk on the phone, stuff like that. And I don't need to promote his channel. He's popular enough. And I would never tell him that mixing the paint the way he mixes it isn't the way to do it. You know, I just don't do it that way. So it's however you guys want to do it and what you're most comfortable with. I just try to show you how to do it where you're going to have the least amount of problems, you know. And try not to piss too many people off doing it, you know. It's sort of a challenge though, because when you make a video, it's like throwing a rock into a pond, you know. There's always going to be a few ripples, but they're never intended. You know, I like to think you guys are my friends, and you know, as being my friends, I would never give you enough rope to hang yourself, you know. So normally, if I got something to say to anybody, I'll PM them, give them a personal message. A lot of you guys know that. I'll personal message you. I won't put it on your page. And I damn sure would make a video slamming anybody. So, Sean, I hope that clears that up. Crystal clear. And let me go get some paint mixed up, and we'll turn the camera back on for this bad boy.